thank you for being here. How many people do y'all know have ever raised exotics, or have y'all raised them? My family and I have raised many, including baby axis, adult axis, black buck antelope, black Hawaiian sheep. However, today I'm going to talk about how to raise a specific exotic rabbit. You may be thinking rabbits aren't exotic, however this breed is technically considered exotic, the Rex rabbits. They are very docile animals and are used for meat as well. What makes them different from any other rabbit is they have a gene mutation that makes their fur look and feel like velvet. This is Nala. She is a 5-week-old Rex rabbit, and in about 3 to 4 months she will be fully grown and weigh 6 to 8 pounds. So I'm going to begin by telling you, before you get any animal, you want to make sure you have the proper housing. So for a rabbit that's going to be the size of her, you should have a cage between 5 feet in length and 3 feet wide. These are good examples of indoor cages because they have plenty of space. Another thing you don't want to do, the House Society of Rabbits says you never want to buy a cage that has wire on the bottom. That is because rabbits are not like cats and dogs. They do not have pads on their feet, and it can tear their feet up. They can get sores and infections and all kinds of things. Now, if you have your rabbits outside, it's always a good idea to have them on a raised platform because this keeps them a little further away from predators. Another great idea is to have a hutch in there with them. That way, if they do get frightened, they can burrow and feel safer and not go into shock from fright. Another really important thing you want to do, since rabbits are so sensitive to heat, you really want to make sure they are in the shade. Okay. Now we're going to talk about bedding. After you get your cages picked out, we need to talk about bedding. So hay is what I use. I prefer hay. And you can also use pine chips. Some people use cardboard, shredded cardboard. However, you never want to use cedar. You never want to use cedar. The Spruce Pet gives a list of safe woods and unsafe woods for rabbits. And cedar is one of the most common unsafe woods for rabbits. The bedding should be at least 2 inches deep because over time the rabbits pack it down. Now, I like to change my bedding a lot more than normal people. A lot of people change their beddings like once a week. I like to change it up to 3 times a week. Now, rabbit diets. Rabbits eat normal rabbit pellets, and they love celery and Brussels sprouts, cabbage. However, the RSPCA says it is never good to give rabbits carrots because they're very high in sugar. It is also really bad for rabbits to have iceberg lettuce. It is horrible for their health. Now, they can have carrots occasionally for a treat, however, it's still not good for them. It's preferred that you give them celery, Brussels sprouts, something other than that. If you do not use an automatic feeder, then you should give your rabbits a half a cup to a cup twice daily per rabbit in rabbit pellets, and then whatever snacks you want to give them. Alright, and we're going to talk about watering now. So rabbits are like dogs and cats in areas that they can drink out of bowls, just like any other animal. However, they are prone to dehydration, especially since they do not do good in the heat. So I like to use an automatic waterer like this one. They do have these automatic waterers for smaller animals that are just as good. However, rabbits don't have to have a waterer like that hangs on the cage. They don't have to have that. And it's also a good idea that if your rabbits are out in the heat and you know it's an especially hot day, you can fill a water bottle up and put it in there. You can fill a water bottle up and freeze it and then put it in the cage so they can curl up to it so they don't get overheated. So in conclusion, I've just talked about some basics about owning a pet rabbit. They're great animals to have whether you're breeding them for meat or just as a pet. They're wonderful animals.